Okay. We got a Dragon Scent. That's the real question. I think so. Oh, let's go. Let's see how much this does. I doubt one shots. Oh my gosh, that does so much damage. What? The Rayquaza is a monster. Wait, hold on. What? Let me see the third. Dude, how does that do that much damage? Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We are approaching the end of this season. I've actually been playing a lot of Open Master League, and this is XL Master League, so this is actually the most XL Master League I've played, and I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Now, those are familiar know that I have a Shundo Ho-Oh and a Shundo Lugia. I do have a Hundo Rayquaza, no Shundo, but I decided to run a team that I've seen a lot of people use over, the last year or so. One of the trainers I've seen use this team a lot was for the battles, and this was mainly after Rayquaza got Breaking Swipe, but now it also has Dragon Scent once you Mega Evolve it once, and let me just say, that move hits like a truck. So I decided to give Triple Flyers a spin for myself, and I ended up best bunning my Ho because it has probably the best coverage against a lot of the threats to Lugia and Rayquaza, whereas Lugia and Rayquaza are kind of a little bit interchangeable in terms of their coverage. This seems really solid for me, and I'm going to show you how I play it. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. One of the most common leagues you'll see in Master League is Dialga just in general. You need to know how to play around, and most are running Draco Meteor, but if you CMP on this first move, there's a chance of Thunder, and you can see my opponent is going to throw that Thunder, so I am going to throw this Sacred Fire at him and go for another one. A lot of Dialga do go for this catch, and that's fine, because you kind of have to soften up the opposing Lugia anyway, to have a chance of flipping it. Lugia is actually probably one of the most reliable counters to Rayquaza, just because of how much bulk it has. You just can't really chew through it, even when you debuff it, and the Super Effective Dragon Tails really add up. Opponent comes back in with Dialga. I'm pretty okay with this because they kind of have to throw Thunder to take out my Lugia, and then they come in with a Palkia. This is not great because they're also throwing Super Effective Dragon Tail. And I do have to shield the Aqua Tail, but in my mind, I think this is fine because they shield, I can farm them down to almost another Breaking Swipe. And in this situation, we are able to get to one more Breaking Swipe, which is fine. The main thing is this can't be a Thunder or else I lose. Ends up being a Iron Head, and we're able to secure the victory. That debuff definitely came in handy in that situation. All right, this is a tough team on the surface, but it's actually not too bad in my opinion. So it's going to be the Dragonite, Metagross, and Excadrill team. So Dragonite Double Seal, a very budget team for Master League Open, but a very strong one. I know King popularized it quite a bit a few seasons ago. And if all goes well, you are going to put it in farm down range for the Ho, and if you can, you want to get 3 Incinerates off. And I get perfectly 3 Incinerates off because now we're in a very good position. So I'm going to throw the Brave Bird right away. I don't really want to give this Dragonite too much energy. They no-shield it, and then I come in with my Rayquaza. Even if they shield, I have a shield advantage Rayquaza. It's pretty good. They come in Excadrill. So at this point, this matchup is actually kind of disgusting in favor of Rayquaza after all these debuffs add up. Obviously, I'm going to optimize as best I can. I don't want to give him too many free turns. Me not getting a Breaking Swipe off right when I have it's not a big deal because it's just one-shot damage that I'm negating. And then I swap over to my... I don't know if I really need to do this, but we go for it anyway. We have the Breaking Swipe ready. Yeah, I probably could have thrown the Breaking Swipe. I think what I was scared of is they were going to try to catch a Breaking Swipe. That was about to throw the Excadrill. But we ended up living the Rock Side. And yeah, able to beat that team. If they counter swap the Lugia with Excadrill, it's a little bit tougher. But typically speaking, I bait the Aeroblast, Milk Shield, and then try to flip switch from there. Alright, Rayquaza. You can see how much damage the Dragon Tails did to the posting Rayquaza already. So pretty nice. I'm going to go straight for the Aeroblast. I'm debuffed. They still shield. So that's actually really big for me because not only do they stake into throw a Breaking Swipe, they still end up using their shield either way. So that puts me in a shield advantage. Anytime you have a shield advantage, when you lose switch, you at least have a fighting chance. I obviously have no idea what's in the back end in this situation. I know that my Ho-Oh, because the best buddy, is going to win CMP against pretty much all opposing Ho-Oh. Unfortunately, not enough to KO. I thought it was going to be pretty good because I was going to CMP them there. But either way, we go for the Sacred Fire. A lot do shield. It's kind of risky. I didn't get a debuff there, I think. But that's fine. We just gotta see what they have in the back end. I have a ton of energy, so if I get the Dragon Scent, that'd be pretty nice for a lot of things. And let's see what's going to be. It's going to be actually a Groudon. And so there's something about this team that I gotta tell you all. If you see a Groudon, you are chilling. Like, it is. I've only lost to one person using a Groudon on their team. And they played incredibly well to beat me. I have not lost a single other battle against any Groudon users. And this is a prime example of this. So the team is so good in the Groudon. Your worst matchup is Ho-Oh. I don't swap out because I don't want to lock myself in a terrible matchup. What I do is actually shield the first Precipice Blades. It is resistant, but does a good chunk of damage because that move just busted. And then I throw a Sacred Fire. And then I swap over to my Lugia, get a little bit of residual energy on that Ho-Oh. And now they come in. I actually caught a Precipice Blade, which is really nice. Any Groudon user that stays in means that they're also weak to Ho-Oh in the back. So you want to preserve that Ho-Oh. You want to save as much health as possible. That's why I shielded the Precipice Blades. Because they're willing to stay in and sack their Groudon completely. And you can see it's a Metagross completely walled off by Ho-Oh. So this is really nice for me because, again, this matchup is so nice. Look at how much energy I get. 3 full Incinerates off. Resistant Meteor Mash, not a big deal. And then now we have a bunch of energy for whatever's coming next. I don't even know. Ends up being a Dragonite. So I'm going to throw the Brave Bird. And then I go for another Brave Bird. We could potentially get both shields right off the bat. And that's exactly what we do. Now we have Rayquaza. I just have the shields. And I should be in a good spot. I know they're probably going to try to potentially catch. Yeah, I figured they're going to try to catch. So I decided to just keep throwing the Dragon Tails. And we're able to finish them all. Alright, Mewtwo. This one's actually kind of an interesting situation. I always swap out. And the main reason being is that, like I said earlier, Ho-Oh is your biggest check to a lot of weaknesses that both Lugia and Rayquaza share. So you want to preserve that. Even if you have a neutral matchup in the lead against something, you swap out because you need to save it just in case. Opponent actually doesn't even shield that Sky Attack, which is a little rough for me. But in this situation, typically speaking, this Mewtwo lead team is pretty strong into my team. Usually they have a Dialga and something that checks the Ho in the back. Oftentimes a Kyogre. I've seen that composition a ton. Honestly, this team's been around since like Season 1 of Go Battle League, and it seems like it's still around. Alright, so my opponent is going to throw what presumably will probably be a Draco Meteor. I swap out, and then here comes a Kyogre. So I did win Switch Advantage. I expected the Kyogre, so that's why I fought so hard for Switch Advantage. The real thing I need to worry about here is if it's going to be Blizzard or Thunder or Origin Pulse. But they're shielding, which is getting me a little scared. Because if it's Thunder, I'll be fine. This one ends up being running Blizzard, and it ends up being a lot harder, unfortunately. Majority of the Kyogre I've seen in the back end matchup does not actually have Blizzard. A lot of them actually have Thunder or Origin Pulse. So once you win Switch, you can win there. But in that specific matchup, I was not able to get the win. So just want to show one potential outcome of that situation, right? Opponent definitely builds up to a potential Thunder, and just throwing Origin Pulse, which is fine with me. They're staying in, so this is definitely giving me some interesting, setting some alarm bells off, I guess, on trying to figure out what they have in the back. They no shield the Aeroblast. That's actually kind of big for me because this Zekrom's not easy to take out. So yeah, because I can't really incinerate down if I didn't land the Aeroblast. I think I might go for the Brave Bird. No, I decided to swap out. Yeah, because Kyogre's pretty low. The reason why I swap out right away is because I think they're locked in because of how slow they swapped out. Our timers are misaligned. And then now they have a Xerneas. I'm going to go straight for the Dragon Scent and look at how much damage it does. Almost one shots. And yeah, we're going to just completely finish off that Xerneas. I just went for it because if I grab a shield, most Xerneas are not running Thunder, which means that Ho completely walls it off, and that that Kyogre is pretty low on health at this point. Landorus Therian form. Not great for my team. Also counterswap by Melmetal. That's also pretty bad. But yeah, we're just going to see what we can do. Opponent actually no shields a potential Aeroblast, which is not great for me. So yeah, currently we're in kind of a bad spot. We don't have a shield advantage. We do have a little bit energy advantage, so we do have that going for us. I'm going to throw out the Brave Bird. It's going to do a good chunk of damage, and most people are going to shield because Ho doesn't really have any bait moves. And now they have a Dialga in the back. So yeah, 2 counters for Rayquaza. Not great, but we do get 2 breaking swipes off, and they no shield, which is huge because we have a shield advantage. We're going to do as much damage as we can, and then I'm going to shield because I get the breaking swipe off. I could have sworn I would win CMP, but I guess not. Yeah, I just wanted to grab their final shield. That was my main play. They can't really stack 2 Stone Edge, so I figured I'd be fine. And then, yeah, we're in a good spot, able to finish it off. Landorus Therian form seems really bad. Super effective Stone Edge for all 3 flyers, but it's actually not that bad, especially because it has Mud Shot. Melmetal is, I don't know, a little bit different of a story, mainly because it's resisting the Dragon Tail damage from Lugia and Rayquaza, so I don't swap out. This is the better of my matchups. It's a little bit tougher because it still has that super effective Rock Slide, but yeah, it's just way harder to take out, in my opinion. We're going to do what we can. Against a good player, they're going to optimize really well and make the most out of this matchup, so you kind of can't really mess around too much. I'm not going to optimize because 1 free turn for me is not that great. All right, and then we have ourselves Yveltal. I do get to the Aeroblast, so this is going to do a lot of damage. I expect a potential shield, and that's not bad. We do get the shield. And now they're going to throw another move. It's going to be a Dark Pulse. And we're going to farm as much as we can. The problem here is the Dark Pulse is going to do a lot of damage, so I actually have to go for a catch. And it looks like we did manage to pull off the catch. Going to give me a little bit of breathing room, and as we saw earlier, Dragon Scent does a ton of damage to Xerneas, and it's going to do a lot of damage to Zacian, but just a little bit short on the health, and double resist Dragon Tail is just not enough. And we're going to lose that one. But we try to keep it close, especially given the bad lead. And, yeah, the not-so-great backline. I mean, they pretty much had us hard countered all the way throughout. Alright, so Zacian lead. This is kind of an annoying one. Because it's super strong, despite the fact that you're running fire into a fairy type. I'm going to optimize off of this and throw the Brave Bird, grab their second shield, and then swap out to my Lugia. Just to absorb some of the damage, because I really need this Ho. For, yeah, just in general. Alright, we do get to Sky Tag. I expect them to try to catch, and they do, or they just swap in general. This is good for them, and they're going to Dragon Breath me down. But we get the Dialga out of the way. So far, this matchup is not looking great for Rayquaza. I got 2 counters out of the way so far. Well, not completely out of the way because the Zacian is still there. I'm actually going to go Brave Bird because there's no point in throwing the more energy-intensive move if it all one-shots. And the Zacian still has to throw a Wild Charge anyway, right? It doesn't matter if I'm debuffed or not. They end up having a Xerneas. This is pretty bad. I am debuffed too, which is not great. And yeah, doing what I can. I do throw the Breaking Swipe, but they catch. Yeah, it's not a good time. I've seen this team quite a few times already. Zacian, ABA Fairy. But Zacian is so strong, it doesn't really matter if you have a bad lead. I feel like you're still really, really good into a lot of things. So yeah, definitely a tough one. Rayquaza really had not many places to go at that point. But something to watch out for. Alright, this is one of the biggest reasons why you best buy Ho. It's for the mirror matchup. What you see me do here is I throw the Brave Bird right away, because no one really throws their move on Brave Bird. They always throw it on Sacred Fire. And a lot of trainers will also throw another Incinerate after you throw that Brave Bird. So it allows me to catch that next Brave Bird or Sacred Fire pretty easily on my own Lugia. It looks like my opponent actually best buddied their Lugia. So yeah, that's why I lost CMP in that situation. But this actually, if you can't tell from the graphic already, is going to be a mirror team. It is a Shadow Lugia, but outside of that, it's pretty much the same. And honestly, that didn't really change up the matchup at all. I'm going to throw a Brave Bird. We grab that final shield, and we have a 2-0 shield advantage at this point. It's going to really set myself up for a good spot in the end game. I am going to shield a potential Brave Bird. Ends up being a Sacred Fire, which is what it is. And I'm actually going to throw a Dragon Scent. I kind of need to take out this Ho as fast as I can because I don't want to get hit by another move. And we just barely get to this Breaking Swipe. So definitely a fun time when you're playing these mirror matchups, but that was one way to play it out. And I honestly think the best way to Ho is definitely a key to success in that situation. Alright, speaking of really annoying Pokemon to face, Zacian is definitely really annoying for this team. But they swapped right away, so that gives me a slight opening. I'm going to go for the Aeroblast. Opponent does choose to let it go. And a lot of Zacians will throw a Play Rough first and then throw Wild Charge to not debuff themselves. So I kind of expected that this might be still a Wild Charge Play Rough Zacian, even though it threw Play Rough first. And I predicted correctly, and we end up 2-shielding. So this is typically not the best position, but I figured my Ho is probably going to be pretty strong into the third Pokemon, and Rayquaza can tank a Shadow Ball, no problem. Ends up being Xerneas. So as expected, something that Ho does really well in, and luckily it's a matchup where Ho completely walls off the Xerneas, so that's really, really nice for me. Like I said, I've never seen a Xerneas run Thunder. They all pretty much run Moonblast and Close Combats, so that makes Ho super strong into Xerneas in this situation. And again, they're actually going to double shield quite a bit. I think they decided to shield to leave with the move so they can take me out later. But like I said, Rayquaza can handle Shadow Ball even when it's not debuffed. They actually do an Ominous Wind, and I get the Dragon Scent off. A very satisfying move. Completely worth it in my opinion. Alright, like I said, Xerneas is going to be completely walled off by this Ho-Oh, and they actually come in Dialga, which is pretty nice for me. The opponent threw pretty much Iron Head before they got to Thunder Energy, so that's why I confidently no-shielded. Yeah, I'm getting chunked a little bit, so that's not ideal, but it is what it is. They are going to get to a move. I'm going to no-shield. Yeah, I have a pretty good matchup still, and if I need to shield a Xerneas, I will. Xerneas cannot really easily take out Lugia either because they don't have Wild Charge. They don't have Thunder in most situations, so they have to throw the Moonblast. They can't really Geomancy farm me down, and I still have a good chunk of health left on this Ho-Oh, so I could tank this Moonblast no problem. I expect them not to shield this next move. They might try to go for the catch, but it looks like they did not. But again, they double shield, and now we have a Kyogre. I'm going to no-shield this first one. Maybe I should have shielded it because I have to throw the debuff move anyway, right? Yeah, so I'm going to throw it right here. But we still have 2 shields, so we're in a really commanding position. Going to shield the second move. Even if they have energy on Xerneas, I still have a shield remaining. And here we go. Another Dragon Scent. Feels so good to land it. And we are going to take that out. And from a really fantastic lead to the worst lead possible, it is Shadow Tyrannitar with Smackdown. I don't know who popularized this thing, but I've run into maybe like 7 or so Tyrannitar this week, and it has not been a good time. I mean, it looks so bad, but against this team, it looks so good. Your best matchup is Rayquaza, but again, your tank is super effective on everything. Ho is going to be the worst matchup for sure. And you can see I'm trying to do my best to swap out, and ends up, yeah, they end up coming in with Zacian. I can't really shield that first one, but they get the 2, which is really unfortunate for me. I end up throwing Brave Bird on CMP, but honestly, I just need to get rid of this thing, and maybe I have a chance in the back end. I have no idea what their last Pokemon is. I do have Breaking Swipe ready, though, so there's that going for me. They actually let it go, and then they come in with Extra Drill. So Extra Drill with Shield Advantage is still going to put in quite a bit of work. Even if I debuff them, yeah, they don't even need Shield, right? So kind of a wild team. I mean, I have no idea what they do into water leads, into Groudon leads. Like, I don't know. But they're just playing the odds, and it worked out in their favor. So that is definitely a Pokemon you don't want to see. But luckily, Shadow Tyrannitar is pretty rare, so you don't really have to worry too much about it. overall, this team was a ton of fun to play, and hopefully it's Pokemon you can start rating for if you don't have the resources for it. I will say this incoming Sky-Attack nerf in the future season is definitely going to hurt Lugia in this lineup, but you can definitely replace Lugia with a third Pokemon if you like, or still try running Lugia with the nerf Sky-Attack. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.